This is the 2017 Dodge Challenger TA, basically the Daytona. It's a 6.4 liter V8, 392. This is what it sounds like when you start it. It's not too bad. That's pretty exciting, but let me tell you about the drive. So the sport mode. So it sounds pretty good, and it gets up to speed quick, but you don't really feel it. You're just in a couch that's like brand new but old at the same time. You don't know what's wrong with it, and it's comfy. It's just not what I want to be cruising around in all the time. So let me tell you about it. Inside, I've never driven a Challenger, and this one feels smaller than I'd expected. I mean, what I didn't realize is that the dash takes up a quarter of the interior of the car. I can't reach the air vents at the bottom, no matter how far I stretch. I'm still 6 to 8 inches away right now. The seats are nice and snug. They're not like super tight, but they'll definitely hold you in place when you need it. And they're comfortable, but I could see them being kind of painful after a few hours because they do push more than they allow you to sit in them. And what I mean by that is it feels like they're overinflated almost on the back, and so I feel like the lower back could have a little bit of pain after a couple hours of driving. Not like serious pain, but just achiness and soreness from the not being the most comfortable seats. Now for cruising, I'm sure they're fine, but if you're doing intense right foot down driving, they're not the best for back support. Now, when it comes to back road driving, this thing is big, and it really, takes up the whole road, and it's got big wheels. Basically, I believe they're the same size as the Hellcat. It's got good brakes. It's got 6 and 4 piston brakes from the Hellcat because this is a 6.4 liter 392, and it brakes and it gets up to speed, and I don't know what it is. It's just not exciting. I think maybe just in my mind, Challenger is Hellcat, and this is not a Hellcat. But even then, this feels small on the inside, big on the outside, and honestly, I have not been enjoying my ride that much. I, tested it out. I sat in the back to see if I could fit in there, and you can actually cruise with 4 people in this car pretty comfortably, I think. I fit back there, you can see. I still have a little bit of knee room between the passenger seat and myself. I'm 5'8", and I had the seat adjusted to where I would be sitting if I was in the front and passenger of my size in the rear. The steering is fairly heavy, even in comfort mode. It's to be expected with a car of this size and weight. In the sport mode, it is really nice and heavy, and it's nice how much it adjusts and how much control you have. So with the touchscreen display, you can adjust things one by one, or you can set all of them to on or all of them to off, it doesn't matter. And in comfort mode, it's fine. It's got a very nice digital dial, or digital display in the middle. That's your speedometer. It could also be your 0 to 60 timer, your 0 to 100, whatever you want it to be. But the gauges on the sides look like they're old school trying to be new. It's like an Instagram filter. Like, the idea is good, but then when you actually put it on, you go, I don't know if I like that so much. And there's just kind of a lot going on in terms of the gear selector and then the fuel indicator right under it. You have M for manual, then D for drive and the gear you're in, and then the F for full, all in one place. And it's kind of confusing looking. It's not terrible, but I'm just not the biggest fan. There are these controls on the back of the steering wheel. I don't know if you guys can see this from the camera angle, but these are volume controls and channel controls, so you can change the radio station and the volume. And the paddles are this big. They are so tiny. Hopefully you guys can see this. But to hit the paddle, you just tap it down. But there's no paddle that you can press under on the underside of the steering wheel. The paddle is just here at the top, and it's only about 2 fingers wide, and that's it. So the paddles almost seem like an afterthought in this car. And maybe it's because they just expect people to cruise and drive and put their foot down. It'll drop a few gears in sport mode, but it's just not the most inviting to use the paddle shifters in this car. So overall, this is a decent cruiser. I don't have much to say. I'm not a muscle car guy. I'm not a Challenger guy. I do want to go drive the Mustang GT350 after this. I know it's a totally different class of car, but I was just expecting a little bit more excitement. This car looks badass, and I was expecting it to feel badass driving it. And to be honest, I don't. This feels more like a workout. Like I could see, maybe my dad owning this and being like, hey, can you take it to the shop? And I'd be like, all right, fine. It's I know this sounds bad, especially if you're a Challenger owner, but this is kind of like a chore to drive. And the reward of driving this, you know, at slow speeds is not that fun at fast speeds. I mean, maybe I need to get to 100 plus to really enjoy this car, but in that case, you know, if you can't enjoy it at slow speeds, I don't know if you can enjoy it at all. So anyways, this was just kind of my first impressions of the Challenger TA. It does sound good. Here, let me get a quick downshift, get the high revs. And it sounds good. It's got that catback exhaust from the Hellcat. I believe it's an electronic valve, 2 1/4 inch exhaust, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's kind of like being at an arcade, you know. It's like sometimes the games you play are good or you win a lot of tickets, but most of the time you're just kind of bored and like, I know this sounded like a good idea, but I don't really know if I like it. So to answer the should I get it question, I'd say it's really a personal thing. Like I'm not gonna not recommend this car because I'm sure there are people who would really love it, and I know there are guys who are diehard Challenger guys. But I would feel bad wholeheartedly recommending this to someone because I could see them being like, you know what, it's fun sometimes, but just like as an everyday car, I don't know if it was a good idea. And so to that, my point is go test drive this at your local dealership. If a fun straight line car is what you're after, that is big on the inside but doesn't feel as big as it is on the outside. So hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of like the Honda S2000 if you've been at that. Like the outside looks bigger than a Miata, but it's smaller. And honestly, I feel like I can spread out here and kind of, you know, lounge like a king, but my Mini Cooper S feels like it has more space. And maybe it's just the headroom in here and the seats being so big and wrapping me around, but everything's kind of big and it makes you feel small. It makes the interior feel small. So I know I rambled on, but hopefully you enjoyed. Please subscribe for more car videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.